Well, immediately following the Orlando terrorist attack, liberals were quick to blame guns and the National Rifle Association, not the killer and not Islamic terrorism. And indeed, Obama and Hillary Clinton immediately politicized this event, calling for further gun control while completely ignoring the elephant in the room. Hillary Clinton says, "We know the gunman used a weapon of war to shoot down at least 50 innocent Americans. And, you know, we won't even be able to get the Congress to prevent terrorists or people on the no-fly list from buying guns." So we can already tell that outlawing firearms is going to be central to her campaign following this attack. But here's a little tidbit of information for you, Hillary Clinton. Omar Mateen wasn't on a no-fly list. In fact, he worked for a company that was contracted to the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Army, and federal and local law enforcement. So they can't even vet the people who are in their midst. And also, as Kurt Nimmo points out, Omar used an AR-15, which isn't considered to be a weapon of war because it's not fully automatic. So once again, she comes off as an idiot and ill-informed. But this is actually a headline from Think Progress. This came out today. This is the gun that committed the deadliest shooting in U.S. history. Yes, it's the gun that committed this massacre. Not the killer, not religious intolerance, not radical beliefs, but an inanimate object. And so this is what they're really heavily pushing everyone. It's this gun that did it, not radical Islam. The Washington Post is now coming after Donald Trump, attacking him in a myriad of ways. But one of the headlines that stood out to me today was they said, Donald Trump's obsession with the phrase radical Islam won't defeat terrorism. Well, at least he isn't afraid to call it out, because your obsession with gun control isn't going to stop terrorism, and neither will covering your ears and closing your eyes and not daring to utter those words because you don't want to be offensive. And indeed, it's this not wanting to offend people that once again allowed another terror attack to take place. Hillary Clinton's State Department actually blocked an investigation into the Orlando killer's mosque. This was the Fort Pierce Islamic Center where Mateen worshipped several times a week. It was under investigation by both the FBI and DHS as early as 2011 for ties to a worldwide Islamic movement that was linked to several terrorist organizations. But the investigation was shut down under pressure from the Clinton-ran State Department as well as the DHS's Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Office out of fear of offending Muslims. And this is according to a recently retired DHS agent, Philip Haney. He said that this was shut down because it unfairly singled out Muslims. And indeed, that's exactly what Mateen's coworker said as well. He actually said he quit because this man's behavior was so unhinged, and he was reporting Omar Mateen to his higher-ups, but they refused to do anything about it. They ignored because of political correctness. The bosses were too afraid. They refused to act out on what this coworker was saying. He was actually talking about killing people, and the bosses refused to act on it because he was a Muslim. So once again, just like in San Bernardino, we're seeing political correctness is actually to blame for allowing another attack to take place. So we need to ban political correctness. But let's just say that they are able to ban guns. Well, I tweeted this out earlier and got a lot of response from this. So if we do ban guns, that means we're going to also have to ban roofs because jihadis seem to love throwing gay people off of them. But we're also going to have to ban pressure cookers, suicide vests, pipe bombs, knives, plumbing equipment, propane tanks, cars. I mean, it goes on because the issue is we're going to have to ban everything until you out there can admit that Islam has a violence problem.
The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.